Give them a shot to do what?
We're back, baby. How we feeling? It's a beautiful, what is today? Tuesday, Wednesday? It's a day in the week. I hope everybody's having a great one. Whether you're listening to this today, tomorrow, or somehow you were listening to this yesterday and we got some Marty Back to the Future action. I have no idea. But I'm sitting here with the man, the myth, the legend himself. I have to stroke his ego because if I don't, he will be mad at me. Jim Cross, because he has been everywhere over the last few days with Tim Elko and them boys doing their thing. Jim, how you feeling, baby?
Man, I'm ecstatic, but man, seeing Tim is great, but I can't wait till this weekend. There's going to be 7 in off the bench guests in Montgomery, but I get to see a couple of their dudes. I get to see Simo and Sean Hunley. So, man, as much as I like seeing Tim, he's just one man. This weekend, I get to see 7, Mike.
Man, I don't get that luxury. But
But you at the Cubs, bro.
Hey, last night was dope. We got to kick it with the Baez family. His mom, his brother, amazing humans, amazing people. We were doing a little partnership with Obvious Shirts. You can check that video out on the gram. It's great to see.
Hey, shout out to you. Speaking of, man, you
man.
talking about the gram? 110,000 followers on TikTok. I don't do TikTok, Mike. I'm an old man, but you're killing the game.
Chill. Can't let the people know. My ex will find out and start asking for money. But in all seriousness, man, we got 2 dogs in here. We talk about followers. We talk about money. They clear the both of us combined. Let's talk about some killers in the room. Chase Dollander, back in the building. The Hartford Yard Goats doing his thing in AA right now. And we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, dog walking the Chicago White Sox earlier this year. Shout out to him. He did it for me. He texted me and everything. He let me know. Trey Lipscomb of the Washington Nationals. How we doing, fellas?
Good, man. How are you?
What up?
Man, every day, just doing our thing. Had a little El Mago session yesterday, and Javi Baez does it the best way he can. He comes back to Wrigley and gets the golden sombrero. I mean, it was tough look. We miss you, Javi, but not really. But let's get into it, man. Like, we got so much going on, so much to talk about today. I know you boys are excited. We got some Tennessee Volunteer champions this past season. I know you boys probably were watching that on the TV, glued to it every second. We're going to talk baseball, minor league, college, MLB, the whole yard. But I want to start off right now with Chase. I got some business with Chase because I saw you wearing the hat. I saw you going crazy. Make pitchers hit again. I mean, especially for me, man. You got guys like Jake Arrieta. You got the Travis Woods. You got the Carlos Zambranos of the world. I remember watching these guys hit growing up at Wrigley Field. And when Jim showed me that, I loved it. I'm here for it. I mean, I remember when we saw John Lester get his first hit as a Chicago Cub, and it was the craziest thing in the world because that man couldn't hit water if he was driving the Titanic in 1912. Like, it was crazy. But too soon. But I don't know. For you, man, do you think you still have it at this level if they asked you to start going yard today? Or can you walk the walk? Can you talk the talk? Like,
I just want to know if he can make contact. Forget a home run.
I think contact for sure. You give him 10 at bats.
Look, this ain't that Nerf video that he filmed, okay?
No, dude, that's a hard one. I haven't picked up a bat since probably sophomore year of high school, to be honest with you. So and especially with how pitching is today, like, even in AA, it's like ridiculous. They're pumping 100 every time they come out of the bullpen. So you just, it's hard to say, but making contact, I definitely could. If I had 10 at bats, I think I could. But getting a hit or getting a home run, yeah, probably not.
Nah, for sure. I mean, me, man. I peaked in high school, so I'm right there with you. I don't care what it is, and I hit, bro. Like, and not no more. But
bro, it's slow pitch softball only for me.
Bro, I love slow pitch softball. We get down on a Tuesday night. You never just see a bunch of random men get drunk on a field in the middle of the week, like slow pitch 16-inch softball in the shot. So I love that.
What is it? What is it about that, Mike? Let me ask you that. I'm going on a whole tangent, but I gotta know. Like, when we played in the military, we'd have these tournaments, and it felt like the more we drank, the better we played. But athletically, that doesn't really make sense.
Well, it depends who you ask. You know what I mean? Some dudes do better, some guys don't. You and I have had conversations off camera of Mike Hughes in high school and, what we did in pre-games. But, like, it was just.
It was like Lawrence Taylor, he needed
No,
hit.
yo, it was more like, it was more like Johnny Manziel. It was more like Johnny Manziel.
Okay.
We're just hanging out. We're just, we don't promote anything on this show that is not kid friendly.
I don't know if they sponsor us, I'll promote whatever.
Yeah, I guess. But man, listen, I want to talk to Trey next because, over the last week we had Players Weekend. Obviously the kids' bats. We had the Jim just sent me the picture of the crayon bat. But my favorite part was Jazz Chisholm Jr. recording the whole thing with a camcorder. And I saw you're still involved with your photography. Obviously, you're still getting into it with the camera, behind the scenes work. Is that something you would ever want to be a part of, to kind of document a road trip or document something with the team?
I mean, yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty cool. I mean, obviously the way Jazz did it, everyone knows who Jazz is, so they're gonna watch his stuff. And especially the way he did it with like the camcorder, like the old school camcorder. I think that the kind of old school is kind of coming back in style. Not just using the iPhone, but kind of getting that vintage camera work. But no, that's something that I've always. I just got a drone actually with a camera on it, so might get some drone footage out there sooner or later.
Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough. I've always I've thought of that in my head, dude, it would be awesome to get into photography if I got a drone and went over Wrigley with it during a game. But then sure. In my head, I'm like, are they gonna shoot it down? Is this you know what I mean? Are they gonna be whose drone is this? You can't nowadays with that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, I got tight with Hillary, who works for LSU, and she does all the sports, and she sends me some of the shots she gets, and man, when you actually have the best of the best cameras and you get to be, on the sidelines, taking pictures, I don't think there's a cooler job, man, because when you get those action shots with that high-speed camera, it's just amazing. You got the best view in the house of the sport.
No, for sure. And I don't know if Trey or Chase, if you guys saw that one the Cubs just posted. It was all over MLB's Instagram, where it's the POV from above, and they're showing PCA get a hit, and then the hit's going to Dansby Swanson, and he flips a double play, and it's
I saw that.
It's symmetrical and it's beautiful. And I'm gonna completely ruin this conversation by transitioning to the other drones. I want to ask Chase. Hey man, you still playing Call of Duty, man? You still rocking with the drone work? You still hitting the sticks?
Come on, man. You already know. I don't stop it right now.
Come on, man. We were just talking about that last week. It was something about, Jim mentioned it, something about pitchers, man, and just loving first-person shooters, just loving video games as a whole, man. And it's crazy to think that every time we talk to somebody, man, they're like, yeah, no, 100%. And then there's me just playing Fortnite.
Yeah, no, it's the position players are playing Madden, right? But the pitchers are all playing first-person shooter games. There's something about it.
Gotta have something to do to keep the mind going,
No, for sure. I'm with it, man. I'm gonna give it to Jim though, because we can talk about this. Could turn into a whole nother topic, bro.
100%.
No, let's talk about Tennessee in that championship, man. Boys, I got to be in Omaha right there to see it. And let me say something first. This wasn't even my notes, but I got documented on air saying this, guys. 2, we had an episode of Championship Special. We had Drew Beam, Billy Amick, and Dylan Dreiling, the most outstanding player. And I said on that show, still, I would put all my money on 2022 Tennessee beating 2024. And people say that sounds ridiculous because 2022 didn't win it. But y'all know how baseball works, and y'all know how that game went. But I'll still stand by that's the best team I've ever seen. But all that aside, man, all those dudes, y'all know them. Y'all played with the majority of them. So I'll start with you, Trey, man. To see them win the championship, I know you had to have all the feels. Those are your dudes. That's your coach, man. That's Tony V. How awesome was it?
No, it was really awesome because, like you said, just to see all those guys. We were in the off. I go back in the off season for a little bit and just see the work that they're putting in, and the season that they got in front of them, which is a long season. Because then you got those guys who got drafted, they got to go play pro ball too, their first season. So that's the extra, probably 25, 30 games that they get shipped off to low A or high A. But no, it was just cool to see them. But no, I agree. And I think the best teams that win it usually have the best camaraderie. And I think those guys had a good group going. They like to hang out with each other outside the field. And when they came to the field, they were just having fun, playing the game that they love. So I feel like that's why they had a lot of success. And then also you got the GOAT, Vitello, leading
I
them
mean,
to
you
the
can't
way.
question it now, man. I mean, going to Omaha every single year, man, the guys that he's bringing in, the talent, like it's unrivaled, unmatched right now.
Dude, I'll tell you this too. This is why we took a hiatus from Pros and Joes for a little bit, Trey. Y'all ready for this? I saw one of the comments in one of Jim and I's episodes said Mike looks like Tony V's ugly little brother. And I said, wow. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break for a minute. I had to heal up on that
Take a
one,
step
bro.
back.
But no, I got to ask you about this, Chase. One of the things that Billy Amick said, we had him come on in November before the season, and he talked about all fall what Trey was just talking about. He was talking about the chemistry. He said it wasn't just tongue in cheek. He wasn't just saying it. He said it literally felt like family from the second he got there, and the chemistry was instant throughout the fall. And I go back to you telling me the same thing when we originally had you on in 2022. And I think that's something that can't be overlooked. And I know a lot of teams say it and a lot of guys say it, but specifically when it comes to Tennessee, like, what is it, man? Like, is it as simple as it starts with Tony V and the culture he builds? Why is Tennessee, man, like, obviously there was a little bumps in the road last year, but they still made it to Omaha, right, at the end of the day when they got it all together. What is it about that Tennessee culture, man, that everything just kind of clicks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably does start with Tony and how he runs things. The fall is not easy for us at all. So, like, we're all going through the same thing and we're all trying to do it together. So that, number one, that builds the camaraderie between us. But that in itself is like, there's also a lot more that goes into it. But it's a constant hunger of like wanting to be the best. I think it's kind of the culture that everybody has built as they've gone through Tennessee, and it just kind of keeps getting handed down and handed down. So obviously, like, eventually the camaraderie is just going to be there as soon as you get there, because you know what you're getting into as soon as you transfer into Tennessee or you go to Tennessee. Like, you're expected to be great, and you're expected you're held to a higher standard than I would say most places are. And so, you walk in there and you're like, all right, all these guys want the same goal. So I'm going to do the same thing. And, you just work day in and day out. And, Q, our strength coach, doesn't make the fall easy, like I said, for us. So that's part of the reason why we're all going through it together, and you kind of have to be together.
Yeah, and so we asked Billy, I want to ask you because you transferred in yourself. A lot of guys take criticism in the portal when they go to other schools, and we know why you did it, and it was a great decision for you, obviously, with everything that happened, but especially Billy, right? And coming from Clemson, he took a lot of heat, and getting that championship as well as being a part of that family that we're talking about. It's something that, it wasn't a knock on Clemson, but it just wasn't the same as the way it was in Knoxville. How vindicated do you think he's got to feel that, he made that choice and everybody questioned him, and he comes out with a championship, a high draft pick, and then all those friends for life?
Yeah, man. I got criticized pretty good too whenever I transferred in, and it was, I don't think it was to the extent that Billy probably got it, because I know he went from a bigger school to an even bigger school, in my opinion. But, like you said, you got to do what's best for you in your career. That's kind of how I looked at it. And if you think transferring is what's best, then transferring is what's best.
Sure.
If you have the want and the hunger to get to the next level, then in my opinion, Tennessee's the place you want to be, just because of the development and all the stuff that's going to prepare you for minor leagues and the pros.
I was curious though, really quick, when you have those conversations internally, at what point during the season do you really know that you're going to transfer? Like, is that towards the end of the year you're thinking of it, or are you kind of throughout the year like, hey, and this is me speaking freely, like I'm sitting there like, man, fuck this, like, you know what I mean? Or are you kind of like, all right, these are my guys, I'm in season, and I'll think about this in the off season?
Yeah, that's kind of how it was for me. I was going through the season, and I was like, all right, I'll just get through the season and see what's out there afterwards. I didn't really think about transferring, I would say, during my freshman season. It was more of like at the end of the season, I had conversations with my parents, with my agents at the time, and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, like, is this something I should pursue? And they're like, 100%. I mean, look what you did your freshman year, and you can only get better. So, I just took that and ran with it, and enter the transfer portal, and it worked out pretty well for me, I guess.
Yeah, and the flip side of that argument is Trey, right? Like, because it really speaks to the Tennessee program. Trey has to wait in line between all these elite players, and he can go leave and go start for anyone, right? But like, why does he want to leave Tennessee? To him, it was worth waiting for his chance. And when you got there, Trey, we obviously know what you did. We still know that you got robbed by my boy Dylan of the SEC Player of the Year. But it's okay, because it seems like you and SEMO really used that to y'all's advantage to have a chip on the shoulder to the next level. Obviously, you see the way SEMO's rocking out right now. So, hey, you know what? They can just keep not giving y'all the awards. It's going to work out. You guys are going to kill it on the next level. So, kind of is what it is. But I want to ask you, Trey, about Ben Joyce. When you guys played with him, he threw 105. That was, something that he's always done, but it was very flat. It didn't have the movement. Now he has the ability to manipulate it in a whole different way. And on top of that, his off speed has developed. How impressed are you with just how nasty he's become?
No, yeah, it's unbelievable what he's doing right now. And when I was up there in DC, we played the Angels, and I was talking to him for a little bit. And he was like, they sent me down to AA, working some things. I developed a new pitch. And I guess that new pitch is like a little change-up splitter that's at like 94, 93, so which is honestly ridiculous.
Yeah, change up in the 90s. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, unbelievable. But no, even like you said, like he throws 105, and sometimes in college I would catch myself out there like at third base, like almost pretending to be like a fan, like kind of just be like, I just want to watch this. I want to see what this is like. And obviously we faced him a few times in the fall, but it was kind of like, it was still like he was still throwing 102, 103, but we knew as soon as he got into the game that obviously the velo was going to bump up a little bit with the fans and the adrenaline rushing. And then you guys saw that too. He had 105, and then the rest is the rest. He's kind of just kept that same pace. And I know you guys saw that bat last night he had versus Bobby Witt, because I saw it all over social media. That was
and it couldn't have been perfect because Mike was already sweating Bobby Witt the day before. So the fact that he did it, I was like, let's talk about it. And now our goal is to get Bobby Witt on here to defend himself, because Chinook is our mainline sponsor, and me and Daniel have money invested in Bobby Witt's the face of their brand. And so like, hey, Bobby, if you want to you're already having massive success, but if you want to get on Ben Joyce's level, you know what I'm saying, you got to come on in off the bench.
Hey, simple as that.
But no, it just really is impressive, because Mike bringing up at the start of this episode talking about Tim Elko, right? I remember when he threw 103 right down the pipe and Tim Elko took it over the batter's eye. Y'all remember in Oxford, the game was already 10-0. I know y'all remember. You're already beating the tar out of it. But Tim tells us, me and Mike, because it was on Pros and Joes, said it was pretty flat, just right down the middle. And that's the difference in his development. The velo's now there, but the movement is just completely different. Mm-hmm. And that's what matters when you get to that level. So I love to see that he was able to make those changes. And Doe, that goes back to when we first talked to you, right? Like, we asked you what was different when you first got to the minors, and you were talking about the ability to have time to make adjustments, right? Mm-hmm. Things that you don't have time to work on in college. And those things are so significant. And I think, we're going to get into your success here in a minute, Doe, but, all those adjustments you're being able to make, and then just watching you, like your success, I'm watching the videos from college and you can see the little tweaks and everything and why it's working. But one last thing, and then we'll get into all that. While we're going through history, Doe, I was there, Alex Box Stadium, the record, you and Paul Skeens going head to head. When we talk about seeing what these guys are doing on the next level, you went toe to toe with them for 5 innings and we're matching them pitch for pitch. When you see what he's doing right now, are you the least bit surprised?
Not at all. Not one bit. You saw what he did in college. It was only a matter of time before they called him up, and I'm surprised they didn't call him up right after the draft just to get his feet wet and stuff like that. But no, I'm not surprised at all what he's doing. He's gross. He's got good stuff, and he commands his own. It's.
My favorite was I got a text from Brock Wilkin after the All-Star game, and he goes, and that's what we had to face in Omaha. And that was the reality, right? Like the Wake Forest guys are, they sleep okay at night knowing that the reason why they couldn't get it done was because they had to face Paul Skeens.
Yeah, it's crazy to kind of see like all the guys that got drafted in my draft, and like not even just Paul Skeens, but Wyatt Langford as well. I mean, he's in the
Yep.
show, and I played him last year. I was like,
Or who went head to head with him? Rhett Lauder just got called up to AAA. He's been
Yeah.
going down like that. Those pitchers, including yourself, like I mean, y'all are all going to be in the show, and we're going to look back and think, man, that crew that we seen in Omaha was ridiculous.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And like we were breaking it down kind of in Chicago when we were boots on ground there. And off the bench was at Wrigley, and we were doing it, man. And we saw Paul, and there was a guy in there who didn't really know a lot about baseball. He was wearing a Bears jersey, and he was like, "Yo, can you put into terms like what this guy is?" And I just looked at him, and I was like, Aaron Rodgers. And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, Aaron fucking, that guy is Aaron fucking Rodgers to the Bears. And he's just dog walking the entire league. It's like he plays the Bears every freaking Sunday. Like I was like, this guy's different. And of course, like Paul's damn near throwing a no-hitter against the Cubs, and Jim's texting me and talking all this smack. I'm just like, whatever, bro.
The Cardinals haven't been winning lately, so I've become a low-key just
it's been quiet.
Guy. I'm just rolling with Skeens and Trey and anybody else who's dominating like
I was gonna say,
any given day.
Be fans of the players, not the teams.
Well, that's really actually what I've done, and there are a lot of people who respect me for it, and there are a lot of people who frown upon it, like me being with Tennessee, in Omaha and everything. But I have said this verbatim out loud to anybody. It's going all the way back to the South Carolina series at LNS. I have never been treated by players, families, and a fan base, even in Baton Rouge, the way I was. And then when they invited me to regionals and super regionals, and it carried on, even Hoover, they, to the tailgates and everything, like just the Tennessee culture. And so I never claimed for Tennessee to be my team. But if you don't think I wasn't 100% all in on them, I mean, we had 15 guests from the show, for crying out loud. But it was real easy to root for the players because all those guys are amazing individuals. So it's just that much easier when you do become a player guy. I was even like, just to use a team that's opposite Tennessee, I liked rooting for Georgia this year because we had Charlie Condon on the show, and I talked to him regularly, and he's like the nicest dude in the world, and it was like hard to not root for that guy.
He says all this, y'all, and then shits on me for loving Bobby Witt Jr. Like that's you understand where I'm coming from. Like I see this weekly, bro. Like,
I didn't get on to you for loving him. I just threw shade at you because the day after you were loving on him, he got owned by my dude.
How about that? Like he's still not batting 360. Like what are we talking about? Like man, be so real. Bob and the Whalers carried my.
Maybe I'm just mad because he's on the lemon pepper bag and not one of the better flavors at Chinook. I thought he could have made a better choice. Okay, that's
your own priority, man. That's you. That's your issue, not me.
Anyway, let's get into the minor league ball. Whatever.
You see this, Trey? Come on, bro.
Actually, Trey's up. You go on the pros first. My bad. I sold you short there.
Man, you know what, bro?
I'm gonna talk the next subject if you ain't going to, because Chase got places to go.
Hey man, go for it.
Trey, talk to me, man. Okay, you waited your turn at Tennessee, but like I was saying, it put that chip on your shoulder, and then like it seems like through the minors, like boom, boom, boom. It's like I said, SEMO's kind of reminded me of the same thing, man. But what was it like? You get called up to the show and way faster than anybody would have thought, man, what was it like, to be able to have that happen? And, it's what every, kid's dream is.
Yeah, right. 100%. I was in big league camp the whole spring training, up until like the very, very last day. They're like, hey, we're going to send you to Rochester. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll go down there and get a few ABs and I'll be up there in no time short. But I didn't think it would be that soon. I mean, I got to Rochester. I took BP. We took ground balls. Like the day before a game, I went in the locker room. They're like, hey, you're going to the show. And I was like, oh, here we go. And so we got to Cincinnati. We had an off day the next day. So, I was walking around the stadium. Like, this is what I got myself into. Like, this is going to be awesome. The day comes, get on the bus. It's opening weekend. So obviously, like, all the fans are out there. We get on the bus. We'll go straight through downtown Cincinnati. There's fans just, like, all around the bus. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And then we get there, and in the back of my head, like, obviously I knew we're facing, and it was Hunter Green. And I was like, of course it's Hunter Green. Go up there for the first AB, the whole nine. I'm like, oh, he's giving me first pitch fastball. Like, I'm just going to ambush the fastball. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. That's what happens when you get
swung about the cleats.
Yeah, literally. First pitch, slider. Swung out my shoes, man. But then after that, I mean, it was good to get the first one out the way, the first AB. But No, after that, it's just been an ongoing thing. Just wanting to get better. That
Yeah.
same mentality, have the chip on the shoulder. Just want to get to the next level. To stay up there because it's. I heard a lot of the times like through the minor leagues, like I mean, it's obviously a goal to get up there, but it's even more of a challenge to stay up there.
So I'm curious on when you talk about all these coaches in minor league ball and major league ball, you take it back to the Tennessee days, and not that they didn't prepare you for this, but you just didn't have to be prepared, I guess, unless you're facing a guy like Doe or a
Right,
guy like Skeens.
for sure.
When you're preparing for somebody like Hunter, what goes into that? Because obviously, his pitching arsenal is so deep now from what we originally saw when he first came into the league.
Right,
You're thinking fastball, he's going slider, he's got a split, he's got all this stuff, nasty stuff going on now.
for
So
sure.
how do you prepare for that jump from maybe 2-3 pitches to, you got guys like you, Darvish, that got like 11?
Right. No, I mean it's definitely about the preparation before the game, like BP and whatnot. Get to the field, watch the film, and study the film on those type of guys. But once you get into the game, it's kind of just one thing I've learned is just to trust your preparation and kind of just kill the body and just go with the flow and just trust what you see and go off of that.
For sure. And when you break down, because I texted Jim the first time it happened, man, you get that first home run, that first dinger of the year. I know 11 bags on the year, you're doing your thing. That's no different. We knew that was happening. But that first big league home run, whether, you're a pitcher who hits or you're a guy who's going dead 450, dead center every single at bat,
Right.
your first big league home run's pretty huge. So can you kind of take me into how you felt about that after the fact? Did you text your family? Did you
Knowing
text
it's a
your friends?
if he gives the typical Tennessee answer, he's going to tell me he blacked out.
He's he's gonna be like, I don't even know what
That's what they
happened.
always tell me. They always tell me they hit it and they don't know what happened afterward.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't. I mean, it's cliche, but yeah, I don't know what happened after I hit it. But no, I mean, it was. I had to text any of my family, like they were all there, because it was opening weekend, so they stayed for the weekend.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I mean, I don't know if you saw the video, but the dude in center field literally almost wrapped it. I hit one of those barely went over, but it went over type things, and in Cincinnati the ball flies, so you just kind of have to touch it. But no,
No, for sure.
it was cool. I mean, yeah, just one of those blackout moments.
For sure. Now,
Well,
Trey,
what's funny, but
Go
before
ahead, go
you
ahead.
move on, Mike, what I wanted to touch on it before you got too far when you were
Yeah.
talking about the emotions when he got there. That's the funny part, right? Like when you get the call, man, all these emotions roll because what you've always wanted is happening. But then to the point where you're talking about when you get there, it's like, oh shit, like for real. Like, I mean, that's got to be a crazy like wave of emotions, right? You go from this high to kind of like not a low, so to speak, but man, the anxiety I would have my first time in the box is unreal.
Dude, the anxiety I have watching Trade the first time in the box is unreal. Like, I'm just like, man, I want to see you be great, man. And
I'd have the BGs. I'd be like, Tom, I'd be like, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
no, for real, he's got
Pitch
the
it.
bubble guts for sure.
Yeah.
But no, man, like there's a lot that goes into it, and especially with such a young team like this. Obviously, you're not playing every single day. You're in and out of the lineup. Obviously this year on the year batting 207. For you, man, like we know the dog you are and the dog you're going to be. How do you continue to grow and develop, obviously without opportunities every single day at a starting level, I guess you could say? So for you, man, like how do you keep that going? Because like for me, if you're coming off the bench, free promo right there and off the bench. But if you're coming off the bench, man, some people go about it the wrong way in where they're like, every time I pinch hit, every time I come into the game, I have to be great because I'm trying to get into that starting role. How do you decipher that and just try to continue to play your game without trying to think too many steps ahead?
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it'd be different if I didn't really go through this before. But I mean, you guys know I went through this my first 3 years at Tennessee. So it's really kind of like nothing new to me. I mean, I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. So it was nice to go through it at Tennessee and possibly one of the toughest conferences in baseball out there. So now just having that same mentality, knowing that my time's going to come, just keep putting in the work, obviously. And sometimes it's not. I mean, obviously you want to be out there every day and play and want to be the star of the show, but sometimes it's nice to just take a step back and kind of just observe. I feel like you can learn a lot that way. And then when it's your time to go, just let it all go and have fun.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And before we get into teammates, favorite players to play against, all this other stuff Jim and I got for you guys before we let you go. Chase, dog walking minor league baseball right now. I mean, you have been phenomenal this. Yeah. Let me see the teeth. The pearly whites. That's big dope.
They honestly kept him in Spokane too long. I mean, he had been owning folks for too long.
Man, come on. They said you got to get out of here, man. This is criminal activity, man. This is assault every single 5 days. Like, let's get into it though, man. 5-1 on the year, 2.43 ERA, 96.1 innings pitched. They have 139 Ks. Let me say that again. 96 innings pitched, 139 Ks with a 1.118 or 1.18 WHIP. Man, for you, man, just take me through this season. What's been working for you? What's been your goal going into this year? Don't give me the I want to be in Major League Baseball. Like what did you want
it's
to
clearly
accomplish?
to strike everyone out.
Apparently so. There was no off-speed pitches this year at minor league.
No, I mean, I think the goal for me this year was just to get in the zone and just stay there. Because I know my stuff in the zone is hard to beat. And, I've always said it, but hitting is already hard. So if I can make it just a little bit harder by getting ahead, that's what my goal is. So, my goal, like I said, this year is just get ahead and stay ahead. And if I can do that, then I know things are going to work out. But I think one thing that has helped me a lot is just learning every single time I go out and pitch, and learning how to read hitters, learning how to approach hitters, learning how to read situations and stuff like that. I don't look at the scouting report too much before a game, just because I know that whatever I'm seeing on a scouting report is not my stuff. So I can't take it word for word or take it for whatever. But I know that when I go out there, I have to be able to read and see how the hitters have their approach to me and stuff like that. And but I think that just being able to use my off speed a little bit more, especially in AA, has been a huge help for me. And I've kind of figured out I got my slider back. Like my slider my junior year of college was not there when I needed it, so it was really cool to work and try and get that back. But also I've been able to use my curveball a lot more, and the changeup has been really good for me at times and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of putting it all together and just using all 4 of my pitches every time I go out.
For sure. And the last time we talked to you guys, obviously, my favorite question on Pros and Joes or in off the bench is always going to be who's been those people who helped bring that out of you? Who's been that person who's helped you with the scouting report, start to figure things out? Hey, man, this guy cannot hit off speed stuff. Hey, man, this guy's got a bad left foot. He's pigeon-toed. Like, who's been that person for you this season that's really helped you become a better version of yourself, or like you said, even find that slider?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's one singular person. I think it's a group of people. My pitching coaches that I've had along the way, Blaine Beatty and Dan Meyer here in Hartford, have both been a huge help for me, and not only like reading hitters and talking through outings and stuff like that, but also in the bullpen, like when I'm trying to work on stuff and trying to work on being directional and throwing strikes and stuff like that. And so I mean, I can't be more than happy. Like I can't express my gratitude to them more than anything. But another big one has been my agent. He's been helping me a lot with looking at electronic video and seeing how pitches are coming off my hand and stuff like that. So just trying to figure out what works best for me and my repertoire. And, there's a guy in Spokane that helped me actually a lot. His name's Connor Carroll, who's our analytics/video guy. And he went through True Media and just pulled up like almost every slider that I've ever thrown and like categorized it by like pitch design and pitch shape and stuff. And he goes, all right, this is the slider you're aiming for because it's worked out the best. And so, for me, that was a huge help in just seeing, what is actually working between what I thought that was working.
So I never asked this, Chase, but being that you talked about your junior year with the slider, do you feel like that's why you didn't have as much success as your sophomore year?
I think it was a multitude of things why I didn't have as much success. I think it was me trying to do too much and trying to gain velocity when I didn't really need it, and me trying to tense up and throw harder and stuff like that when I know I'm at my best, when I'm free and easy and I'm not trying, and I'm throwing harder when I'm not trying, and my stuff is just better. And so, as soon as I figured that out, it was like, all right, let's just
Of course, you set the bar so high your sophomore year, it was going to be hard to replicate that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have a question because a lot of people asked me this when it came to the Rockies. How disappointed were you when? And it's hard to say disappointed because y'all drafted Charlie Condon, and I already spoke about how I feel. But the idea of having Chase Burns with you, because when we're sitting here talking about nasty slider, like that's the first name that comes to mind. Like the two of y'all back together is just such a scary combination and a thought for opposing, teams.
Yeah. No, yeah. When I saw him get drafted at 2, and I was like, wow, okay. I was like, I for sure thought he was going to get to the Rockies, but no, I'm super pumped for that guy. I mean, he deserves it more than anything. He's put in the work, and he did what was best for him. And obviously, I was sad to see him leave Tennessee, but like I said, at the end of the day, like we talked about earlier, if you think that's what's best for you, then do it.
Right.
And the people who don't sit there and harp and hold on that grudge, who still love him, that's what I'm saying. They're rooting for you on the next level. They absolutely wanted the two of y'all together, because the idea of y'all both being with the big league club one day and getting to watch y'all as a Tennessee fan and a fan of just amazing talent, that's something that you want to be a part of to watch.
For sure.
No, for sure. And it was, I was really hoping he would get, but like you said, Charlie's nothing to bat your eye at. I mean,
right.
When he ends up hitting 50 bombs one day for Colorado while you're out there pitching, you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I haven't met the guy yet, but I'm excited to, and I'm excited to
I'll put it to you this way. Before the show, we talked about my mom. He messaged me multiple times to check on my mom and dad. So you already know he hits home runs. So I tell you, he has the character that, all I did was interview him on a show a couple of times, and he has the character to check in on my family. So that tells you everything you need to know about the guy.
That's awesome.
Without a doubt. But man,
or hey, check this out. I actually happen to have it right here. Just coincidental. This is the Georgia lineup card with the whole team sign that he got for me.
That shit is not coincidental. That man Jim has not let go
I swear
of
to
that
God,
card.
no, it's sitting. It's right next to my Saints replica championship ring.
I see it. You've been holding it for the last 2 weeks. No, I'm kidding. But he's taking it everywhere he's gone. But no, man, I love that, and I think I'm a big believer in the saying, and it sounds like a joke, but I'm so serious. Like life goes on. Like, oh man, like you would love to be teammates with so and so. Life goes on. I'll see him around the road. And you never know what the future holds, man.
I just want to know what happens when Trey and Dylan are in the show together, and Trey looks over at him and says, I was better in 2022, right?
Oh man, the crazy work. That's crazy.
He's here in AAA in Rochester. I played with him last year in AA, and we've had this conversation before.
Well, how'd it go though? Who won the argument?
It was mutual,
Dylan's pretty humble. He's not gonna. So you got two humble cats. They're actually probably not gonna fight each other about it.
No, for sure.
We agreed that when they went the whole co-SEC Player of the Year, that year didn't really count. So.
Trey Lipscomb confirms that they both agreed Trey was better. No, I'm kidding. But
I mean, he did win it the year before. I mean,
there's a clear hate towards the Tennessee because damn Christian Moore had the triple crown and couldn't get it. So
for sure.
Just hang it up if you want a Tennessee player to get SEC Player of the Year.
I'm with it. But Trey, man, you had an amazing story last year when we had that conversation about who's been huge for you. You talked about your third base coach, who's probably the best defensive third baseman you've ever seen, and he gave you his glove, and it was one of those things where you continue to cherish those memories. But now you're with guys like C.J. Abrams, you're with James Wood, you're with all these different guys in the Nationals organization. Who's been somebody for you now who, whether you're learning from them vocally or just physically watching their game, helps you be a better ball player?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go with James Wood. We grew up probably 10 minutes from each other here in Maryland. So I always knew of him, but he's 3 years younger than me. So and then he went to IMG Academy down there in Florida. But now we've been through every step in the minor leagues, and we've been in high together, big league camp together, AA, and then even Rochester for a little bit. So it's cool seeing how he does things, and he kind of just the guy who goes out there and just, he's one of those guys who's talented enough, but also he puts in the work and he trusts himself, and he goes out there and he hits 460-foot home runs. I mean, I saw the last one. It's special to watch him play and to be able to go up to the minor leagues with him, and then obviously up there a little bit in D.C. with him. It was cool to see him do his thing up there.
So I am curious on this, though, because I need the humble brag from Trey Lipscomb right now, man. I mean, you are older than these cats, and I think that's so huge where, they're producing at such a high level, but you're also still kind of, I mean, you're one of the only guys that can really buy alcohol on that team right now. Like, let's be real. So like you're a leader in such a young ball club. Well, what has that meant for you to kind of be the oldest rookie? Like, not really, but you know what I mean? Like in that
No, for
sense,
sure.
like I'm new, but I'm older than everybody. So like you're also sharing experiences, you're sharing wisdom that you've seen.
Right. No, I agree 100%. The Nationals have like a young group, young core coming up. So it's kind of weird being labeled and classified as a rookie, even though like, I'm kind of older than some of these guys, and like you said, they can't even buy their own alcohol yet. But no, it's cool just having like just going in there and knowing that some of the guys, even though like they're older than you, like even CJ, he'll come to me and ask me for like advice or something, like what would I do in this situation. So it's cool being in those moments because I mean, just going to the minor leagues, and he had 2 years in MLB before I even got up there, and him still asking me questions about how like, I would go about certain things. It's just cool because, and then you look back at it and it's like, yeah, I mean, I really am like older than these guys, or played a little bit more baseball than these guys. So it's just cool to go through those types of moments.
For sure.
All right, Mike, I'm a rapid fire this next section because I know Doe's got to go. I want to start with you, Doe. Baseball in the Olympics. We talked about it last episode. They're looking to do it in 2028. And as they said the last episode, it's kind of criminal. I think it was Nikhazy said it's kind of criminal that we don't already do it. I mean, especially with baseball being as big as it is globally. How excited are you with the idea that USA can have a chance to continue to prove that we're dominant when it comes to sports around the world?
No, I think it's a great opportunity. Like he said, I don't know why it hasn't been a thing for longer, but we have the WBC, so we kind of get a taste of what that could be like.
And like Mike said, that couldn't have went better, right? It was Hollywood.
Right, exactly. And I mean, you see talent from all over the world come together. You see people that, from different countries that don't typically play baseball, playing in this tournament, and it's awesome for not only the sport, for the people, but for the people involved. I mean, it's a way for the players to get their name out there. It's a way for different guys to prove themselves, and so I think it's a great idea, and I mean it should be already in there.
Trey, would you expect for it to be pro guys, college guys? I mean, how do you think they'll go about it?
I think it'd be cool to have like a little bit of mix of both. Because I mean, you see in the Olympics now, you got like 17-year-olds and competing for like ice skating or something. So why can't it be like that for baseball too? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it should be both.
Yeah, no doubt. Staying with you for a second, Trey. They're in your division, so I mean, you obviously you feel bad and you don't, but like Austin Riley's a 2-time guest of the show. He just took one off the hand, man. Just really unfortunate. Puts him out 2 months. The Braves have just had injury after injury. Being that you play the sport, you have to have some sort of compassion. How much does it suck just seeing like the way that, this is a team that should be competing, but they can't get any guys to stay healthy?
Yeah, no, it's tough for them. And obviously, I mean, they don't have everybody healthy right now, and they keep losing people. But I still think they're playing really good baseball. I mean, they're still in the mix. They can still make a run for it without their best guys in there. Because I know they just got Mike Harris back. He was out for a
grand slam in his first game back. What a way to come back.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. But no, I think they can still make a run for it. But no, you got to feel for those guys who, I mean, you know how hard they work just in spring training, and then to go out, like especially towards the end of the postseason, it's tough because, like I've talked to a few guys and they said like baseball in the postseason, and MLB is just different. And obviously we got a little bit of taste of that in college, but I've heard it's just glorified or magnified by 4,000. So
right.
So Mike, before I ask Doe this, I'm gonna ask you this. I'm putting you on the spot right now. Guardians win the American League, yes or no?
Oh, I think at this point in the year, you have to and this isn't a cop out, but you just have to look at it, man. I mean, the trajectory right now, Class A should not have pitched the last 70 games in a row. Like they're killing the man. But they're on a roll, man. And you look at the Royals, who are 4.5, 5.5 back in the wild card right now. So I mean, I'll rock out with the Guardians, man, for now. But I'm rocking with Bobby. But Trey's about to go for the sweep in late September, so I'm play a little spoiler. Trey, do your thing, baby.
No. But I wanted to ask you, Chase, because everybody's talking Baltimore, the Yankees, obviously Houston. Are you more of an underdog type guy? Would you like to see an organization like Cleveland that, everybody's already talking about the other teams, but yet their record is actually one game better than the best team in Baltimore?
I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question. I would say, being on the Rockies, yes, because the Rockies are struggling right now, but just having that underdog mentality, I think is great, and it's going to be great for the Guardians. I think they do have a pretty dang good shot at doing the unthinkable. So I think it'd be pretty cool.
Mike,
Hey,
have you looked at those?
too? Knoxville legend.
Oh, no
Hey.
doubt. Hey, Mike, have you looked at him talking about being on the Rockies, the NL West standings lately? Like, it is absolutely insane, the division in which the Rockies play in. Like, every team outside of theirs is over 500, and 3 of them are 13 games or better over 500.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And to Doe's point, I want to say we talking about the Rockies. If you ask teammate Chris Bryant right now, got the hat on, hey man, fuck Cleveland. We do not care. We are not worried. Let's move on to the next conversation. We dog wiped them back then. Someone's going to dog wipe them again.
Well, last week on the episode, we had to feel bad for the White Sox. Now we're feeling bad for Cleveland. Next week, we're going to feel bad for somebody else.
And just to point that out, by the way, shout out to Lucia, shout out to boys. I'm only saying that. I'm petty. The Guardians swept the Cubs this year. I'm just talking shit. But, man, bro, like, I'm with
These two don't feel bad about DeLucia. They
no.
wiped the floor with DeLucia in Oxford. That was the craziest part. But, Mike, do you have any other topic before I hit them with a rapid fire this or that? You got any other MLB pressing topic you got to talk about?
I got one, and it's for Trey. Chase, I love you, but this has been on my mind since I seen. We talked about Hunter Green a little while ago. Throw that away. I don't care about no PO. Get out of here. We're going to talk right now from an infielder's perspective, man. What was it like seeing Ellie in person for the first time, to kind of see him go about his preparation pregame on the field, and just kind of they're calling it the aura in Cincy.
Yeah.
He's got a little aura to him. So like, what was your first impressions on Ellie De La Cruz?
No, I mean, it was pretty cool, especially for that being my first team to play against when I got caught up there, and then we played him again in DC. But it's kind of like he's one of those guys where you got to be on your feet at all times, because I mean, you see he's tagging, scoring from home on a little pop fly in the infield. So he kind of just brings that energy to the game, where I feel like people come to the stadium to watch him and watch him ball out and play his game, because he's doing things right now that obviously, like, I mean, it's pretty hard to do. And he's killing it, and he's taking it and doing it the right way, which is pretty awesome to see.
For sure. That was all I had. I had to geek out just one more time. It's not just about Bobby in here.
All right, we're going to rapid fire so we can get Doe out of here. This or that, y'all know how it's played. You choose one or the other. Can't say neither. Can't say both. Chase, you'll answer first on every question. We're going to start, because this show is brought to you by Chinook Eatery. What's better, the barbecue seeds or the Parmesan pepper?
I'll go barbecue.
Trey?
I'm going to go barbecue.
All right. All-star uniforms, the way they've been doing them, changing them up every year, or do you think they should just go back traditional forever? You wear the team you come from.
I like the way they've been doing them.
Uh-oh, Mike don't like that. Mike wants traditional. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I like the way they've been doing them too.
So do I. So, man, you're outnumbered 3-1. I do too.
The colors and stuff, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I like this year's, and I was in a minority. Not even just Mike. A lot of people told me I was crazy, but I mean, I dug it. So, I mean, I even got one of the hats. I thought they looked good. So,
y'all smoking that shit. That shit looked like Gatorade.
Hey,
Mike,
it gives the players a chance to like express themselves a little bit.
Hey, I'll do you
Mike,
one
you
better.
just went over the over on your cussing per episode.
I don't think I did. I
said
did.
7. No, I put the over on
that's
7.
3.
You went over.
That's
no,
3.
It wasn't. That was like 10.
No, damn doesn't count.
All right. Real important question. Peanut butter, no jelly, or cereal, no milk?
Peanut butter, no jelly.
Trey?
I'll go cereal, no milk.
I just had Cheerios in a bowl straight up before this.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. All right. This is important, because when I went out to California, my whole perspective changed now. Would you rather be at a luxury swimming pool or the beach?
Beach.
Did both y'all answer? I only heard one answer.
Yeah, we both said beach.
Oh, well, y'all wrong. Because let me tell you, when I had to go to see Ben Joyce, and I got sand in every crevice possible, and all that, and if I'd have just been at the pool, I could have just got dressed and rolled out. The beach is problematic to me, man. I don't care anybody. You got to drive from there. You got to get all the sand off. I'm now a swimming pool guy forever, but that's me. All right. This is the most important question we'll ask today. And Mike, just to be clear, I did those 2 videos on the YouTube to do a comparison to see, what was better. And one is running away with the other. I'll say it after I ask him. What is cooler, the pencil bat or the crayon bat?
Pencil bat.
Trey?
I'm going to go with the crayon bat.
There we go.
Yeah,
well, Chase, that's
that
why you pitch, because it is absolutely the crayon bat, and it is doubled up. It is doubled up.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I haven't even seen the crayon bat. So.
No, I'm gonna send it to you.
Because it's on the color options too. Like when I think me and Mike was talking about when he rolled up with that purple crayon bat. I forgot who it was. I was like, all right, let's.
No. It was blue, and I was like, yo, if that shit was purple, I would spend $500 on it right now. It wouldn't even work.
I do like both of them nonetheless, and I love all the cleats that everybody was rocking with last weekend. All right, Judge, over under 65 home runs. He's at 45 currently.
I'm gonna go under.
Trey,
I'll go over. You're gonna get hot again. He be hitting like.
What are you going, Mike?
He's coming to Chicago soon, so I think that's about 10 right there. So I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna say like right there though. You know what I mean? Like 63 to 66.
I like 63.
Look, I'll be fun on this. I'm just gonna say push. He gonna hit the number on the dot. Look, here you go.
No, crazy. All
right, last question. I'm gonna put it to y'all. It would all be right. I've eliminated the money question, especially since Trey's the one that screwed me over with it. I've actually told this story a whole bunch of times. I actually like that you did that because it changes my perspective on everything. But who gets called up first? Simo or Chase Dollander?
Simo.
No faith in yourself. We got
right. Here's the thing. If the Angels,
he's hotter than the sun.
If the Angels didn't have the track record of pulling up their first rounders the way they do, I would say myself. But
Ben Joyce got off the plane and immediately threw some.
Well, did y'all see that clip I had done? As much things as I've gotten right pre-draft, I projected the Angels to pick him, and I predicted that he would shoot up because of what you just said. The Angels shoot up people faster than anybody, and so, man, not only do the Angels get him, he comes out on fire, and I'm like, Lou, this is just going to happen.
Yeah, with the way he's doing, you can't.
Like, I'm actually scared. I'm supposed to go see him this weekend. Yeah, I'm supposed to go see him this weekend. It would not surprise me if I get there on Saturday and find out he's not there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, you saw what they did with Shanuel last year. I mean, he spent 2 weeks in the minor leagues and then went up and hasn't looked back.
Yep. 100%, man.
But would you, hey, Mike, I'll end with this and then you close this thing down. I would rather be drafted by a really good team and have to work my way up than be on a team like the Angels who doesn't really win. You know what I mean? Like, because here's the thing. Simo might get cut up, but have the Angels ever been in contention?
So big leagues.
Yeah, I mean.
I know, but if you want to win, if you want to win a championship, I mean, your contract's your contract already. That ain't going. I mean, you're still going to be getting paid the same whether you big leagues or AAA, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, hey, you know what? Actually, bring that up. That's not true. I have a response to what you said earlier. I can't remember which one of y'all said that he should have started in the big leagues. There's actually in Skeen's contract, the reason why they held him was they would have to pay him more faster if they moved him up. So I think the Pirates were being Pirates and being cheap.
I mean, no, that's just
sounds about right.
I'm no Scott Boras. I'm just like from dealing with it with Chris Bryant. Like that's just what they do in the league now. Like if they bring you up in May, they get you for an extra year, and it's like the whole arbitration thing, and that's just a whole conversation. The Players League definitely working on that because it is bullshit. It's always been bullshit. Like Chris Bryant, when we talk about it, rookie of the year, but didn't get to play in the beginning of April just because he wasn't quite ready yet. Like no, bro, you just weren't ready to pay him. But
exactly.
Inevitable.
Yeah, no, literally. But man, we appreciate you guys being here, bro. We appreciate talking to y'all every single day. Never forgetting the Joes when we're talking to the pros. You know, it's always an honor to sit here. Trey, I see the hat. I see what you're doing,
Yes,
my
sir.
boy.
Yes, sir.
Rocking with it.
For sure.
If you guys want to check them out, Lips22, because he's got the swag on IG. Got to check him out. Obviously, photography is his thing. He's getting professional photos. He's making his own photos. He's doing it all. And then probably my favorite username on the gram, Lil Doe 01, because Lil Doe was taken. We got Chase Dollander, Chase Dollar doing his thing, man. GBO all the way. We got a couple Vols in the building, making waves in Major League Baseball. I am Mike Hughes. This is Jim Cross. This is episode 2, season 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't know how they let me back in the building, but they let me back in the building. I got the key to the thing. But I appreciate y'all being here, man. This episode has been presented by In Off the Bench Podcast and the Give Us a Shot Network. So give us a like, give us a follow if you haven't already. What are you doing? It's 55 minutes in and 41 seconds, and you ain't subscribed yet. You're weird. Just hit the button. It's like right there. But appreciate y'all being here, man. We got to get going because Chase and Trey have to go make the league pay. Until then, we'll check y'all out next week. Peace.
Give them a shot to do what?